Vesper, the young leading actress of the story, lives in a dystopian world with a clear class divide between the privileged elite and the common people who
must struggle to survive. The elite reside in a secure, enclosed city called the Citadel, while ordinary people face the harsh environment outside. Survival in this world depends on special seeds provided by the Citadel.
These seeds are genetically modified to yield produce only once, forcing the population to depend on the Citadel continuously for sustenance amidst a cruel world.
Vesper struggles to survive. She lives with her father, Darius, a former soldier who is now completely paralyzed.
But with his ingenuity, Darius is able to transfer his consciousness into a drone, allowing him to communicate with and assist his daughter as she faces the dangers outside. Vesper is a brave and intelligent girl who must forage for food by herself every day.
She possesses a deep knowledge of biotechnology. However, their lives take a drastic turn when Vesper returns home one afternoon to find their house has been robbed. The generator that powers their home, as well as Darius' life support system, have been destroyed beyond repair.
Vesper decides to seek help from a nearby farm.
But upon arrival, she encounters a disturbing scene, as this farm is facing its own problems. She sees a genetically engineered human used for labor, but lacking intelligence, injured beyond use. Jonas, the leader of the farm and Darius' brother, orders a young boy to dispose of it.
Shocked by what she has witnessed, Vesper approaches Jonas for help.
Vesper asks for the bacteria necessary
to repair her generator, offering her own blood in exchange.
Vesper's blood is a valuable commodity. Jonas intends to trade it for seeds from the Citadel. He expresses interest in Vesper and offers her a place at the farm, claiming he will help care for her father.
But Vesper
senses something is wrong. She suspects Jonas wants to use her for reproduction, something she cannot accept.
After Vesper gives her blood, Jonas refuses to give her the bacteria she needs, claiming he must sell her blood first, which could take days. But Darius cannot wait that long.
Desperate and enraged, Vesper tries to take her blood back, but Jonas kicks her out of the farm. However, Vesper does not give up. She uses a secret path only she knows to return to the farm.
Vesper sneaks into Jonas's lab, stealing the bacteria she was owed, and taking the opportunity to steal some Citadel seeds as well. Upon returning home, Vesper quickly repairs the generator and begins experimenting on the seeds she stole, hoping to unlock them.
Shortly after, while in the forest, Vesper finds a young woman named Camellia unconscious on the ground, her body being drained of nutrients by a strange plant.
Vesper quickly helps her and takes the young woman back to her home to treat her injuries.
The woman introduces herself, saying she was one of the passengers of a crashed vessel. Camellia is looking for her father, who is traveling with her. She promises to reward Vesper
if she finds her father. Although Darius objects, Vesper decides to help Camellia.
She sets out the next morning and follows the tracks to the vessel.
Vesper discovers that Elias, Camelia's father, is still alive.
However, Vesper is not the only one to find him. Jonas's group has also arrived at the crash site.
But they intend to kill Elias simply because he is from the Citadel. Vesper tries to intervene, but Jonas shoves her aside without a care. Looking inside the vessel, Jonas finds a scarf next to Elias, realizing that another passenger is missing.
After returning home,
Darius tells Vesper to report the news to the Citadel before Camellia does something dangerous or before Jonas finds her.
Vesper agrees with this plan. She lies to Camellia, claiming she hasn't found Elias yet, and promises to go out and search again the next day. Later, Vesper begins to trust Camellia more and reveals a secret she has long kept hidden.
Vesper takes Camellia to a greenhouse where she experiments with growing plants that are genetically modified to have various special properties.
Vesper is proud of her creations.
Her ultimate goal is to develop plants that can produce viable seeds, allowing humanity to become self-sufficient again,
without relying on the Citadel.
While Vesper is tending to her plants,
Darius speaks with Camellia privately. He admits they will likely never be allowed into the Citadel, but pleads with Camellia to have mercy on Vesper.
As getting inside is the most precious thing to her.
Later, Vesper asks Camellia why the people outside the Citadel are excluded. Camellia explains it's because the Citadel's leaders fear there won't be enough resources.
Vesper suggests that the outsiders could help with the worst jobs, but Camellia points out that the Citadel desires complete control, and genetically modified laborers like jerks are more suitable because they are obedient and have no thoughts of their own. That night, Vesper and Camellia spend time together.
Vesper sings while Camellia plays a musical instrument.
However, this piece is short-lived. The next morning, Vesper sneaks into Jonas's house again to use his transmitter. But this time, Jonas spots Darius's drone and captures it. He pretends to fix it while interrogating Vesper about the missing seats and the other mysterious passenger.
Jonas makes it clear that he dislikes liars, especially within the family.
Vesper denies all accusations and seizes the opportunity to snatch the drone back.
She tries to flee, but discovers the drone can't fly and it crashes into the forest.
As Vesper attempts to recover the drone, she stumbles upon a tragic sight.
The body of one of Jonas's henchmen, who had previously helped her, has been left under a tree to die alone.
Then, Vesper is captured by Jonas's other men.
They brand her hand to show that Vesper is now Jonas's property. Confused and in despair, Vesper returns home. Camellia rushes to comfort her.
Guilt immediately overwhelms Vesper, and she breaks down in tears. Before confessing to Camellia that Elias is dead, she takes Camellia to the river and finds Elias's body floating in it.
Camellia throws herself onto her father's body, crying with grief, until Vesper has to pull her away. Vesper notices a strange scar on Camelia's back.
When she touches it, the scar has a peculiar reaction. The truth is, Camellia is not human. She is a special model of jug with intelligence.
Elias created her and was exiled from the Citadel for this forbidden act, creating a servant with its own thoughts. Camellia admits she has been lying to them all along. She has no power or means to get Vesper and Darius into the Citadel.
Vesper is furious.
She shoves Camellia in anger.
They both return home, and upon arriving, Vesper coldly tells Camellia to leave after her wounds are treated.
Meanwhile, Vesper repairs Darius's drone and tells him everything.
Darius understands the situation well and tries to explain to Vesper that jugs cannot choose their own path.
They are programmed to follow orders. Camellia had no choice either. At the same time, a hopeless Camellia, having lost her father, considers shutting herself down, but before Camellia can do it, Vesper stops her just in time. Vesper realizes that Camellia might be the key to her experiments. She then asks for a sample of Camellia's cells for further study. However, Camellia's cells have a defense system, just like the Citadel's seeds, making the experiment incredibly difficult. Just as Vesper is about to give up, Camellia plays music to help her relax.
Then, a miracle happens as the music becomes the key to unlocking them.
Vesper finally succeeds in modifying the Citadel's seeds to grow. She has now created a sustainable food source.
Vesper needs more equipment for her experiments, so she heads to an old lab with a drone. While Vesper is away, Camellia helps care for Darius, but suddenly, Jonas breaks into the house.
Camellia pretends to know nothing, but Jonas isn't fooled. He threatens to deal with
Darius, so Camellia has to agree to go with Jonas. But Jonas happens to see the scar on her back.
He instantly knows that Camellia is a jug with intelligence. Jonas then tries to reprogram her to become his complete slave, but Vesper returns just in time.
A fierce fight breaks out. Vesper, Darius's drone, and Camellia fight Jonas together and manage to defeat him.
Vesper chooses to spare Jonas's life, offering a deal. She will tell him the secret to unlocking the seeds if Jonas promises not to report the matter to the Citadel. Jonas agrees, so Vesper lets him go. However, Jonas doesn't keep his promise. He contacts the Citadel and reveals Camelia's location. Jonas agrees, so Vesper lets him go. However, Jonas doesn't keep his promise. He contacts the Citadel and reveals Camelia's location. Late at night, as Vesper is successfully working on the seeds, the victorious atmosphere is shattered when Darius' drone detects a threat outside.
Strange creatures attack their home, releasing a dangerous toxin.
Darius, a former soldier, immediately recognizes that they are facing a biological weapon.
He orders Vesper and Camellia to hold their breath until the toxin dissipates.
Camellia, feeling guilty for being the cause of this, prepares to turn herself into the Citadel to protect Vesper and Darius.
Darius refuses.
He knows the Citadel will not stop hunting Vesper.
Darius then plans to buy time so Vesper and Camellia can escape, but Vesper doesn't want to leave her father behind. Darius then persuades Vesper to hide nearby instead, volunteering to handle the situation himself. Darius plans to
lie to the soldiers that there is no jug here. Meanwhile, Citadel soldiers storm Jonas's farm, killing him and all his followers.
As for Vesper, she and Camellia have taken the unlocked seeds to hide in the forest.
In reality, Darius never intended to negotiate with the soldiers.
He planned to use the drone to self-destruct. Vesper, who was watching from hiding, sees the explosion and wants to go back to help her father.
Camellia quickly stops her, saying it's too late. But
the situation worsens when two soldiers survive the blast and begin to hunt down Vesper and Camellia.
They flee to a swamp filled with dangerous plants, hoping to use them against the pursuing soldiers.
The first soldier is consumed by a plant, but the other soldier learns from his partner's mistake and manages to avoid the dangerous flora.
Vesper and Camellia try to hide, but unfortunately, a certain plant makes a sound, revealing their location to the soldier. With nowhere left to run, Vesper and Camellia decide to fight the soldier.
They manage to snatch his weapon and force him into an area with carnivorous plants.
However, the sound of a Citadel glider is approaching. Camellia knows they will not stop hunting as long as she is with Vesper. She is putting Vesper and the precious seeds in danger. Camellia thus makes a crucial decision, even though Vesper
tries to stop her. Instead, Camellia knocks Vesper unconscious and hides her under a pile of leaves. She then walks out to surrender to the Citadel soldiers. The next morning, Vesper wakes up to find that her home has been burned to ashes. Vesper carefully takes the unlocked seeds and plants them in the soil.
She then finds a group of children who survived the attack on Jonas's farm.
They decided to follow a wanderer and found a tower-like structure built by other nomads.
Vesper climbs to the top of the tower and releases the seeds. The wind carries them across the land, marking the beginning of a new world, a world where people no longer have to depend on a Citadel. And that is where the film concludes. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss an update. Thank you.